So Halo 7, I can already feel the mixture of hope, excitement, and that deep PTSD from the Halo Infinite launch. But seriously, if 343 is taking another swing at this, I want this to be the one that finally lands. Halo 7 does not need to reinvent gaming, it just needs to remember what made Halo great in the first place. So today I'm going to lay down my full list of expectations, the features that I need to see, and a few dream ideas that could help bring back the glory to Halo. Ranging from classic Armours, Assassinations, a real PvE experience, Invasion 2.0, actual campaign DLC, social features, and yes, a Forge mode that lets us fly Pelicans into chaos. Let's get into it. First things first, Armour. Halo Infinite's customization was a bit like a mobile app store. You could technically make your Spartan look cool, but it was only after you completed the 12-step program involving battle passes, coatings, and your credit card. I miss when Armour meant something. You know, back in Halo 3, when you saw someone wearing a full set of Hayabusa, or even Recon, you knew that player had earned it. It wasn't random, it was a badge of pride. Or in Halo Reach, when you saw someone wearing that Inheritor helmet with the skull in the visor, you knew there was about to be a bloodshed. You knew that player was the best of the best. But let's take this a step further in terms of the design and returning to the classic Armour design. Let's add armor effects into this. You know, not the silly Fortnite glitter and the roadkill signs and the nonsense neon things that you had in Halo Infinite. Just imagine armor effects like energy sword slashes across the chest, or even like Covenant blood on your armor or human blood on your armor that you can unlock from like campaign missions or, you know, particular criteria, or even like weathering systems. You know, so your Spartan's armor shows dirt, plasma burns, scorch marks, you know, little battle scratches that tell a story. You know, the more you play, or even the harder the mission, you know, the rougher and more heroic your armor looks. And on top of that, cracked visors as a cosmetic would be amazing. You know, you beat Legendary Campaign, boom, you get a little crack in your visor that you can toggle on and off. Or if you beat Lasso, you get like the full spider web crack, like you headbutt the Brute Captain. You know, and if armor cores are to return, which, you know, personally I'm not for, but if they are, is what it is. You know, give us like miscellaneous gear attachments, you know, that actually enhance our fancy, like, you know, like George's backpack or like, well, tactical packs, comm rigs, antenna arrays, stuff that makes sense. So like, I'll give you an example. I think personally, I struggle with this. The Rakshasa core could have environmental gear like rope coils, grappling hooks, ammo pouches. The Mark IV could have Unity tech packs or like EVA oxygen tanks. A bandage theme core could have like a makeshift armor plate system, not armor plate system, but armor plates. Or like a brute trophy strap, which would be, that would be crazy. Nothing bulky, but nothing too goofy. Just gear that makes your Spartan look like they actually fight wars and not attend Comic Cons. And most importantly, none of this should require 17 different marketplace tokens, passes, or currency systems. If I want cracked visors, blood splashes, and tactical backpacks, I should be able to earn them through gameplay. Halo armor used to feel like a badge of honor, and Halo 7 for sure needs to bring that feeling back. Now, if Halo 7 really wants to bring the magic back, then earnable armor has to return. Not store-only armor, not battle pass-only armor. I'm talking actual skill-based, in-game earned armor, just like the good old days, when unlocking Hayabusa or Recon. That shit made people respect you, or fear you, depending upon what you had.
He is a 5-star general with recon armor. This is probably the sickest thing I've ever seen on Halo. Yeah, it's just badass, and I wish this guy the best in Halo gaming.
Halo 7 needs to bring back a wide range of challenge types, so everyone has a path to something awesome. Casual players, tryhards, campaign lovers, PvE grinders, sweaty PvP demons, everyone. Now let me break it down even further. Lasso challenges, i.e. legendary all skulls on. This is the ultimate flex of Halo, ideally where all the best rewards should lie. So for example, complete Lasso for the campaign, you should get something that immediately makes your Spartan look like a menace, something that reflects the difficulty of that achievement. A cracked visor with a faint glow, a scarred Mark IV shoulder plate, a Halo ring engraving on the chest piece. I don't know, something people see in the lobby and think, oh my goodness, they're like, this guy, this guy is going to be difficult to get rid of. Like, the kind of reward that invokes fear in matchmaking. Another one, weekly challenges. Good weekly challenges. None of this get 5 kills with a commander whilst crouching on the Thursday afternoon crap. I'm talking meaningful fun challenges. You know, win 10 matches in any playlist, you unlock a new texture. Complete 5 firefight missions, you might earn a shoulder pad. Play with your squad for 3 sessions, unlock a visor, or like even something like, you know, do a firefight mission and keep all 3 generators alive the whole time, or make sure they don't take any damage, you unlock ... You kind of get the gist of where I'm coming from. You know, easy enough for casuals, but rewarding enough to keep people logging in. And even if it is difficult, have the rewards scale with the difficulty. Another one, live event rewards, PvP and PvE. Events shouldn't be FOMO disasters that disappear forever, but imagine rotating PvE events inside Warfront or Firefight. Survive 15 rounds during a flood outbreak, you unlock something flood patterned. Beat the banished boss encounter and you get banished armor effect or something. For PvP, capture 20 flags during capture the flag, you get like a CTF visor, or like you get a flag backpack. Win 5 invasion matches, you get some elite style armor. No, events should feel like seasonal holidays, not time store windows. And another one would be secret campaign codes, you know, like back in the day of Halo Waypoint, you know, secret codes on the wall on the side of like Zeta Halo or something, Forerunner codes that unlock cosmetics in the main menu. You can find them throughout the campaign, maybe like ODSTs, like a telephone system where you get that secret ending with the bad cop. You know, you find data pads with 4-digit entries, unlocking a pattern. Bring back skill-based challenges. You know, get an assassination from 50 feet above on an elite, or kill a brute captain with only grenades, or no scope a ghost driver mid boost. You know, stuff you can proudly say, or proudly like show off. You're just like, hell yeah, this was me. This is what I did. You know, this stuff should take skill. And finally, I think completionist and collection challenges would be awesome as well. They reward people for doing everything. 100% a campaign, unlock a full set of X armor. Finish all PvE challenges, you unlock something for Forge. And the message generally for Halo should be, play Halo, get cool stuff, not, you know, buy stuff and pretend you played Halo. You know, that's how I kind of view the situation on things. And while we're talking about progression, bring back credits. Halo Reach nailed it perfectly. You played a match, you earn credits. With credits, you bought armor. It wasn't RNG, it wasn't predatory, it was player driven. You could lose every match and still make progress, because the system respected your time. And the leveling, don't get me started. That rank climb from recruit to general was addictive. No arbitrary resets, no temporary ranks, just a long, satisfying ride that meant something. Halo 7 needs to bring that back. Combine it with modern systems, maybe even tie credits to PvE and Forge modes as well. Reward people for engaging with all of Halo, not just selective playlists. Assassinations. Bring back assassinations. Do not do assassinations dirty like this. Remember those times when you crept up behind someone and the camera did that dramatic spin as you stabbed them in the neck? Listen, Halo Infinite decided that it was quote-unquote too disrupted. But listen, it's not Halo without a little theatre. Assassinations made multiplayer moments iconic. The tension, the animation, the salty voice chat after, you know, like the feeling of someone running up behind you, you jump up, spin around, you melee them, you get that ninja, and they're forced to watch in shame as you just take away their pride with an assassination. Assassinations were perfect. Bring them back, maybe go even further. Give us new ones, brute-themed ones, elite-themed ones, maybe even contextual ones depending upon the weapon type, like Gears of War, for example. And add the option to customize assassinations in the menu. Because nothing says dominance like personalizing how you dramatically end someone's career. And this is where I think Halo 5 actually did a good job. I think Halo 5's assassinations did really well. I really liked them and the variety that it provided. You know, it was just, for me, the best we had. Now here's where Halo 7 could truly change the game. PvE content. Halo fans have been craving something to sink their teeth into. Something that isn't just replaying the campaign forever or fighting bots that forgot how to aim. Firefight was truly amazing back in Reach, and it still is amazing. But Halo has the tech now to go even bigger. So hypothetically, imagine this, a mode called Warfront, or you could do it like Call of Duty, where COD has like a separate game for Battle Royale. So like you know, you can kind of pick and mix. It's like, if you don't want to play Halo 7, you can go to Halo Warfront, okay? You and 3 other Spartans drop into a massive semi-open battlefield. You know, think big enough to explore, but small enough to stay tense. The Banished, you have Covenant remnants, Flood outbreaks, if we're feeling truly spicy, and they all have their own zones, objectives, and dynamic patrols. And even with the Flood, it could be a thing of like, they don't appear for like a year after the game launch, and it's like, oh, you know, these elite cultists, like for example, what's going on in the lore right now, they fed the Flood like a bunch of dead bodies, blah, blah, blah. They developed the Keymind, and now they're here on this ring, and there'll be a new event where the Flood show up. So the missions, they'll shift constantly. You know, so defend a UNC base from waves of banished hunters whilst Marines scramble to repair the auto turrets, or escort a Marine convoy through dangerous territory, you know, with Banshees above, hunt down banished captains before they regroup and launch a counterattack, or, you know, stop a Scarab construction site and blow it up before it gets operational. And between these missions, you can gather resources. So these resources allow for requisitions, you know, like snipers, scorpions, things like this. Warhogs, ODST squads, AI Spartans, and heck, even an orbital Mac cannon. It's like Firefight meeting Battlefield. You know, you mix it with Halo Wars and you wrap it into one chaotic experience. And here's the best part, that every week, the Warfront could change. New enemy loadouts, new mini-story arcs, rotating threats and evolving objectives. You know, one week the Banished dominate the field, and the next week, you know, the Flood could take over particular Banished areas. You know, it could repurpose the area. And the rewards, new coatings, armor effects, PvE, exclusive attachments, none of the store nonsense. And this could be the thing that Halo is missing. A reason to log in every week that isn't a shop reset. And in the next section, I'm going to further expand upon this point. So in this Warfront game mode, I feel like you could really truly have Spartan classes. You know, not the boring cookie cutter mage knight kind of way, but PvE excluded loadout modifiers, you know, armor attachments that make you feel like your Spartan has a specialization. You know, Halo lore is filled with specialist Spartans, snipers, infiltrators, demolition experts, heavy weapon soldiers. So I think for a PvE experience, we could truly embrace that. You know, I like, for example, Jun's shoulder plate has snipers on it, you know, plus 50% sniper ammo reserve, or the Commando Sensor Pack, you know, like Carter's armor. You can remotely control Unity auto turrets, turrets focus fire on enemies you mark. George's heavy armor module, you know, big, heavy, ridiculous, and beautiful. Wearing George's armor kit gives you a heavier overshield, resistance to explosive damage, the ability to call more resources during Warfront missions. You know, you kind of get the gist. The EVA armor, a stealth mobility class, faster mantle and slide, short duration active camo and flank kills, bonus melee damage from behind, or the ODST field rig, an extra grenade slot, faster revive speed for downed allies, and access to drop pod tactical redeployment between objectives. No, none of this affects PvP. This is PvE exclusively. This keeps multiplayer balanced whilst letting the PvE become a playground for crazy builds and squad synergy. Warfront would be the mode where you and your team actually talk strategy. Okay, you run George's tank armor. I'll control the turrets. you take the sniper kit and you take, I don't know, the medic character that allows us to revive if we lose lives or whatever. Every run would feel different depending upon your squad composition, loadout, and armor attachments. On top of all of if the Flood are here, then we need to bring these weapons. We could have this loadout, we could bring that. PvE gets depth, armor gets meaning, and I think this would truly be beautiful. Your Spartan finally feels like a proper super soldier with a role, and not just feeling like a customizable action figure. Now, next on my list is Big Team Battle, the mode that single-handedly defines Halo chaos. Flying vehicles everywhere, snipers taking pot shots across the map, and that one game named Kevin flipping the Warhog upside down before the match even starts. Halo Infinite's Big Team Battle was good, but it felt a bit too safe. I think we need a larger arena match with extra vehicles sprinkled into the table seasoning. Halo 7 needs to make BTB feel like a galactic warzone, 24v24, large-scale battles. In some variants of it, you have AI patrols, drop pods slamming into dirt mid-match delivering weapons or reinforcements. Kind of like Warzone in a sense. I think Warzone actually did pretty well with the mixture between PvP and PvE. And maybe you can have things like Scarabs. Maybe this is just bring back Warzone. I think Warzone was great. Maps should feel alive. I think Warzone felt alive. I felt that there was danger. It felt kind of cinematic and sometimes was very unpredictable. But imagine running with your squad and then boom, banished drop pod crushes you, the laughter. Or a Pelican swoops overhead dropping a Warthog right into the fight. These are the unscripted Halo moments that make players talk about these things for weeks. The chaos, the teamwork, the holy crap, did you see that? These factors are really important to the game. I think BTB shouldn't just feel like an arena. It shouldn't just feel like arena's bigger brother. It should feel like you're actually part of a massive ongoing UNC vs bench conflict where anything can happen. And, that leads me on to my next point, I guess. Bring back Invasion. Halo Reach truly had something special with Spartan vs Elites. The asymmetric gameplay with objectives that actually mattered. For Halo 7, we don't just bring this back, we evolve it. Say hello to Halo Invasion 2.0, a multi-phase narrative-driven PvP experience where each phase feels like a different chapter of a battle. Phase 1, the Brutes launch a frontal assault on the UNC base. Spartans scramble to defend the generator node, plant explosives or repair defensive turrets. Phase 2, Spartans counterattack. Vehicles come online, elites ambush from the cliffs, and both sides fight over control points. Phase 3, all-out warfare. Scorpions, choppers, ghosts, wraiths, locusts even, Halo Wars vehicles, all unleashed in a final showdown. And this is where it could be spicy. Spartan, playable brutes and elites. Spartans, gear-based, tactical and versatile. Elites, agile, stealth-focused, plasma-heavy. Brutes being heavy hitters, berserk abilities, slower but devastating. This adds more depth and more accuracy, and pure Halo flavor. You get unique brute ability. You would get unique abilities per species. Brute shoulder charge, elite active camo bursts, and maybe a Spartan overshield boost. Matches would feel different depending on the team composition and phase of battle. I think that this is the kind of chaotic, lore-rich, and unforgettable Halo experience we've been missing since 2010. I think either Halo 2.0 or, Halo Warfront could truly be a flagship mode for the next Halo game. Forge, in my opinion, is Halo's secret weapon, the one thing that no other FPS can touch. Infinite's Forge was already pretty insane. People built working Doom replicas, cutscenes, open world missions, and full-on raid encounters, even custom campaign missions from previous Halo games, all without official AI support. So imagine what Halo 7 could do if they finally decide to go full-on Skyrim creation kit with it. First, you could have AI scripting, not just spawn grunt here, but more like patrol paths, aggression states, squad behaviors, objective triggers, and boss modifiers. So you could literally build your own firefight map, ODST campaign levels, or even a Halo Wars, like a mini Halo Wars styled mission. Give us the ability to set, for example, when player enters arena, banish squad ambushes. When objective complete, drop reinforcements. When boss is below 20%, trigger second phase. This turns Forge from a map editor into a full-blown narrative toolset. Next, you could have flyable Pelicans. No more placing a Pelican as decoration. I'm talking fully functional transports, fly in, drop in Marines, evac players, deliver vehicles. Imagine designing your own campaign where your squad loads into a Pelican. You fly into banished AA zones and drop directly into the fight. Or maybe you can script the AA turrets to shoot the player down at the start of the mission. This is the stuff fans have been begging for since 2007. And then next up, you have objective scripting. Let us build rescue missions, sabotage ops, extraction missions, multi-phase battles, stealth infiltration levels. Basically, give the community the power to make a Halo campaign so good, people start saying, 343 didn't make Halo 7, the Forge community did. That's something I would be okay with. Adding in dialogue scripting, basic test box, or VO triggers. And suddenly now, you've unleashed the most powerful community tool in FPS history. Picture this. A community-made ODST mission. You drop through the clouds in a drop pod, you land in the ruins of New Mombasa, you fight through dynamic brute patrols, blow up a banished outpost, then sprint to a Pelican for evac as a phantom chases you. All built in Forge, bear in mind. This is not replayability, this is immortality. This gives the game a longevity never seen before. Halo would literally never die as long as it has fans that have the tools to keep pushing out new stories, new modes, new missions. Forge isn't just a feature, it is part of Halo's legacy. And Halo 7, in my opinion, needs to take this to the next level. And lastly on this list, pre-game lobbies. Remember those? Back in the days of Halo 3 and Halo Reach, loading into a match felt like you were arriving at a party. You saw a lineup of Spartans flexing their armors, their emblems, their color schemes, and their tragic fashion choices. Even to the point where, remember people would have those Halo ODST tags on the Reach profiles, they might have Bungie, things like that. That, for better or short of a word, that was just pure aura. It built hype, it built tension, it made every match feel like more than just press button, game starts. Halo Infinite showed up and said, actually, what if the match just starts? No build-up, no personality, just poof, you're in a game. You don't know who you're fighting against. You're not mentally squaring up to anyone oh, he's an inheritor. I'm going to target this guy. We're going to 1v1. None of that. And I think that's a real shame that they didn't bring that back. And I think Halo 7 needs that pre-game lobby energy. I want to see my Spartan standing in a drop bay, doing a victory stance before the match even begins. I want to see the enemy team across from us so I can mentally prepare myself to get sniped by the guy wearing cat ears or by the guy wearing the inheritor arm or whatever. Give us full Spartan lineups, armor flexing custom poses, weapon show-offs, player banners, squad intros that feel like a real UNSC briefing mission. I think that is what Halo 7 needs to bring back. Just imagining a cinematic where the camera pans across your fire team as the Pelican doors open, kind of like Halo 5 in a sense. Your Spartans nod and the game just transitions seamlessly onto the battlefield, or an elite team roaring in a banished drop pod, or brutes slamming their fists into their chest before the round starts. Give us banter, give us personality, bring back all of this, give us a chance to admire the armor we spend grinding for, because we don't really get a chance to look at the armor when we're playing, if I'm honest. Other people can see our armor, but we don't really get to. Pre-game lobbies aren't just nostalgia. In my opinion, they're identity. They're the moment where your Spartan stops from being a mannequin and actually becomes your character, and Halo 7 needs to bring that feeling back. So that's the end of the video, guys. That's my wish list, my expectations, and my Halo 7 manifesto. Range from classic armors to earnable unlocks, credit systems, assassinations, PvE gamers, finished campaign, Forge AI, and a social Halo that brings back the feeling of Halo. None of what I've asked for really is impossible. It's just ambitious, and we need to see if Halo Studios can actually deliver an ambitious project like Bungie did back in the day. We don't necessarily need another reboot or a rebrand. What we need is for Halo to feel alive again. Whether it's nostalgic or new, stupid or serious. I just want a Halo game that makes me smile when I boot it up, to deliver that hype. Like, for example, when you booted up Halo Reach for the first time, you were greeted with that main menu. Just hype. After all of these years, through the ups and downs, the Halo community is still here, still fighting. Even those that, may have left the game, there's a Halo fan still in there. And 343, or should I say Halo Studios, what they need to do is to create a project that reaches that inner fan. We need to have a project that makes Halo mainstream again. We still have great people in this community. We have Mince Blitz, we have Rejected Shotgun, Hidden Experience. That's just a few. And so we are still here, still hoping, and still ready to finish the fight.